Hello friends, I downloaded the file from the VT. The C2 server is down, so I downloaded the file from the VT. Okay, so this file is the RTF file. I will open the RTF file. If you see here, they added a lot of junk data and some kind of the obfuscation technique. Due to this junk data and obfuscation technique, if you used RTF dump or RTF object or RTF scan static tools, it actually not working very well. It's failing to extract the cell code. So I thought of using the XDBG to explain how we can get it into the C2 URL for Xloader. Okay, by executing dynamically also we can get the URL. That is the different part. Just I want to explain how we are going to cell code using the different approach. There are a lot of technical blogs and tutorials available for this vulnerability, so you can refer that one of the good blog is from the Palo Alto. I will link into the description. Check it out. Now I am going to explain a different approach. So I opened the Gflog. This is the one of the tool from the Windows debugging tool sets. In this image tab, I'm going to add the EQNEDT32.exe. Once added, I'm going to press tab. Then in the debugger, you need to click the debugger and you need to paste the what is the debugger path. I'm going to place the debugger path. Then you need to click apply. So basically what it will happen, whatever process it's try to open this EQNEDT32.exe, it will attach that process into the X32 debugger. That is, it's going to happen. So now I'm going to execute this file. This file will open the EQNEDT32.exe. Then that automatically that EQNEDT will attach into the X32 debugger. Let's try. So you can see automatically it's open. Okay, so it's open EQNEDT.exe. I'm going to run. So now I reach the entry point. I'm going to place a breakpoint on the vulnerable function. Control G. Here I'm going to place the breakpoint. So this is the vulnerable function. About this function and technical details in the Palo Alto website, they explain very well. So I linked into the description. I'm placing breakpoint here also. Okay. Now I'm going to execute the file. Click F9. So it's reached first time in the vulnerable function. Again F9. Here you can see this is the Times New Roman. This is the font size and this is the font value. This is the font value. Basically what happened, this is the buffer size. This is the size of that string. This buffer size is maximum 40 bytes. When we try to store maximum more than 40 bytes, then we can achieve the buffer overflow. In the buffer overflow can be prevented by data execution prevention and ASLR, address space randomization, using the address space randomization. But these two features are not present in the EQNEDT.exe up to Windows 7. That's why this vulnerability is possible. Okay. In the old method, what happened? So if you executed 3 times, okay, I'm executing the second time. You can see here it will come symbol. I'm executing the third time. So again it will come courier. In the old method, if you executed the 4th time, it will hit again this particular vulnerable function. In the second argument, you can go to the second argument. If you follow the disassemble, you can see here the shell code, but that particular method is not working for this new sample. That's why I want to show some of the new method how you can get into the cell code. After some spending some time, I found the one function. This is the function. this is the address of that function. So in this function, what happening? It's executing this function 6 times, and the 6th time it's passing some of the argument here. After that, it's directly loading into the cell code. So I place the breakpoint in the function. Okay, I'm going to remove the breakpoint from here. Here you don't need the breakpoint anyway. It's not going to hit here. So now I'm going to execute the sample F9. So it's reached here, right? So we need to execute this function 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. So totally 5 times I executed the function. Now I'm going to place the breakpoint on get process address. Set the breakpoint on the get process address. Why? Because most of the time cell code will use the load library and get process addresses as a API to load other APIs and execute the code, right? That's why I place the breakpoint on the get process address. Now I'm going to debug, advance, run, or you can press shift F9. So if I click that, it will hit in the get process address. Now you need to go to trace function. Here right click, start trace, and click OK, and go to tracing record and trace over into trace record. Click here. If you click here, then you can see here some of the trace functions output. Okay, in this output, if you observe the addresses, these are the addresses for the DLL. After that, these are the address for the different address, right? If you right click, follow disassemble, then you can see this is the shell code. Okay, it's a valid shell code. This function currently executed, so I'm placing breakpoint on here, and I'm going to remove the breakpoint on get process address. I'm going to disable it. Now I'm going to run trace, debug, advance, run. So here I triggered. If you click the arguments, it passing the arguments for the URL mon DLL file. Okay, URL mon function API. Okay, here I'm going to just step in, step out. In the call SI. So here if you see get process address URL1, then what is the API we are calling? URL download to file. From this URL download file only we are going to download the Xloader sample from the C2 server. Okay, for that we are loading that particular function into the memory. Then we are going into the function. Before going into the function, you might have observed this is the path of the file. This is the path it's going to save. Okay, I'm just stepping in here in EAX. In the EAX, it's going to call urlmon.url download that file. Okay, if you observe here, you can see the second argument. This is the C2 server. This is the file name. So say second argument, this is the C2 server, and this is the third argument is the file name. Okay, I'm going to step on. So it will give exception error. If you exception error, then you need to give debug advanced run. Okay, next we will go to some more code. Okay, here if you go to here in EDA, if you see in EDA, it's going to execute some more function. It's going to execute some more function. So this function you can see here from this API, it's going to load this API. That is the shell32.dll. It's going to load shell32.dll. Once it's loaded, then it's passing the it's going to this function. In this function, then get process address. It's then it's getting the process for the cell execute W API. Okay, once it's received the address, it's try to execute that exe. Okay, step over. Then in that EAX you can see shell32.execute.exe. Here it's going to execute that exe. Here if you go follow down, you can see here is the this is the path of the exe. Seems it is not connected the internet, right? That's why it's showing blank fields. If it is the connected with internet, or if you enable the fake net or something, then it might try to download them from that fake net. Okay, I'm going to execute. Once I executed, then it will pop up. So here it's pop-up received because there is no file, right? That's why it's not, the pop-up is showing there is no file. Okay, suppose if the file is downloaded, it will successfully executed in the background. So this is the small demo I want to show that. Okay, thank you friends, thank you very much.